They call me Dan, the Lakers fan. And I got a master plan for the Lakers back to the promised land. Spread the vision through my people, cause we fans are equal. When we reach 20K subs, yeah, we gon' drop a sequel. Another Laker anthem track, watch me run it back. Got the keys to the city where my Laker jack.
What up, Laker family and NBA world? It's your boy DTLF with day 4 of NBA free agency. Guys, we are here. All right. It's been a very eventful free agency, and it still feels like we're not complete yet. There's some things to, hopefully that will come and happen. But I feel like the sense of urgency has kind of dissipated a little bit to the point where Lakers can sit back now and figure out what deals are best for them and figure out what remaining free agencies are the best fits. But how you guys doing today, man? Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful morning in the West Coast and a wonderful afternoon in the East Coast, man. It is officially 11:05 p.m. Pacific time. Guys, we have Summer League around the corner, July 5th, the California Classic. So I will be covering that on this channel as well. That starts, I believe, let me see if I get this right. That starts at 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. versus Golden State, followed by July 6th, 1:30 p.m. versus Miami, and then July 8th. That's the California Classic. The most important one is the Las Vegas Summer League. That starts July 10 at 5 p.m. and, of course, versus the Dallas Mavericks and Cooper Flag. So we'll get a very good look at the young rook, and that's going to be very exciting. What up, Solo? Good to see you, man. What up, Jonathan? Good to see you guys, man. Hopefully everybody is having a good day. We got a lot to talk about as far as the Lakers go and the NBA. So blessings, brother. How you doing, Jonathan? He said we need to see some trades. It's coming. All right, let's start with the report of the day. The Miami Heat are reportedly seeking a first-round pick, Dalton Knecht, and Rui Hachimura from the Lakers in trade talk centered around Andrew Wiggins, per our good friend Jovan Bua. Guys, that is what I'm talking about, and this is why Rob Pelinka takes so long to make moves. We always criticize how long somebody takes. Who's going to want to make a trade like that? I like Wiggins. Perfect 3-and-D fit. He'd be awesome on the Lakers. But if you have to mortgage everything and then some to get this man, it's not worth it. Rui Hachimura and a first-round pick is more than enough. They shouldn't need Dalton Knecht. All right? Or a first-round pick in Dalton Knecht and a filler, an expiring contract like Gabe or something like that is more than enough. They want an arm and a leg, and they want to leave us dry. And I'm not cool with that, man. Pat Riley, you got to work with us, fam. We want Wiggins, sure. Great fit. He'd be a great replacement for DFS, better offensive threat as well. He's a 17-point per game guy right here. He can come in. He probably averaged like 15 on the Lakers just because we got a lot of scoring options. But to have that man at that price is just not worth it. I'd rather hold on to Rui, Dalton, and that pick for a better trade in the future or just to keep developing. Right? But again, those of you just tuning in, the Miami Heat are reportedly seeking a first-round pick, Dalton Knecht, and Rui Hachimura from the Lakers in trade talk centered around Andrew Wiggins. Now that is why Rob Pelinka waits so long to make trades. That's right. That's why right there. That's thievery, right? Even here's the thing, right? Even if that trade does get done, now all of a sudden, we have less assets to work with. What do we need another trade at the deadline, right? It's like if you're going to make a trade like that, you want to make sure that it's the one that puts you over the top, right? This one will still leave a lot of question marks, even though, again, I love Wiggins. He has championship experience. He'd be perfect. He's a veteran, right? Saludos, David. How you doing, brother? Good morning. Good to see you guys, man. We're here talking about a potential trade that may never come to fruition, to be honest. Because, again, the Lakers backed out of the Mark Williams trade. It was a similar package, and that was a ripoff. I also want to talk about DeAndre Ayton because since we have acquired him, right, there's been a lot of slander, from that side over there, right? And or from that side of the media. The media has just slandered him to oblivion. This guy right now, man, DeAndre Ayton, is currently in his home country giving back to the community. Okay, so all that stuff. By the way, teams inquired to the Portland Trail Blazers trying to figure out what type of person he was. They got rave reviews about what a teammate he was, what a great mentor he was for Clinnigan, for all these rooks. So nothing but positive energy and thoughts. David, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man, for hooking up the community with memberships. Let's roll the credit.
I want to thank you for becoming a member. On Detailist channel, we're a family, and together, we win.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to David, man. He's always so generous, man, and so thoughtful for the community. Giving back. Talking about giving back, man. Right on cue. My guy. Let's see. Get Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and Matisse Thybulle. Well, I'll tell you what, Swan. We don't have all the roster slots right now available. We have about 1 or 2 left. So if you want that many players, we'd have to make trades for sure. Right? We'd have to make trades for sure. My guy Miguel says that's too much. I wouldn't do it for Wiggins. And again, it's nothing against Wiggins. It's just the asking price for the Lakers for whatever reason is always an arm and a leg. Like, seriously? Dalton Connect, the first round pick, and Rui. I'm sorry, that's a package you put together for a star player. Wiggins is not a star player. He's a star within his own role. Right? He's a star player within his own role, but he's not a star player. Now, again, back to the pundits, because this is what they're saying about DeAndre Ayton. They're saying he's very talented, to be hugely impactful for a player for them. The question is, can he? That's very much an open debate. Guys, this man was 15-10 on his road to the finals. All right, on a franchise that doesn't matter half as much as the Lakers, the Phoenix Suns. I'm sorry. If there's any Suns fans watching, no offense, but your franchise isn't half as valuable as the Lakers. It doesn't matter. The limelights, the fan base, everything is just so much better. He's coming here. He's coming over, right, to Laker world, and he's just going to feel like a rock star here because you're just so much more relevant when you're here. But at the same time, I understand it comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of criticism. It comes with a lot, for surely. But I believe since this might be his last hoorah in order to get himself another big contract in the NBA, I think he'll be on his absolute best behavior. I think he will give us the best of his, Hey, yeah, shout out to David, man. He's out here blessing the community, man, with free memberships for sure. All right, here we go. Jonathan said Lakers tax is well and alive. All will pick us or Golden State. Oh, you're talking about Al Harrington. Sorry. Al Harrington. Yeah. Well, we have registered interest. I think we offered our, what is it called? The biannual exception? Is that what it's called? This is worth over $5 million. We have offered that to Al Horford. That is on the table. He's weighing his options. Now, there's 3 options that Al Horford has according to multiple reports. Option number 1, the Lakers. We're always option number 1. Option number 2, the Golden State Warriors. And then option number 3 is to retire, from what I'm hearing. Right? The last option doesn't seem plausible because I don't think they have the money to pay him, which is going back to Boston. But I think, he's really weighing retiring. This guy is 39. Not everybody ages as gracefully as LeBron James, right? So they do have to consider that. And, if he does retire, that'll be a little bit of a waste because he would be perfect for us off the bench. Also, I want to talk about a potential 17 deal that might be in the works that involves the Lakers. Is the Kevin Durant trade. We'll talk about that in a bit. Let's answer some questions and some comments on the live stream right now. I'll give them that for Bam and Wiggins. Now, for Bam, we'd have to include a lot more for sure. But from what I'm hearing, Pat Riley's not interested in trading Bam or Tyler Hero, right? So he's not interested in trading either of the two. He's not interested in rebuilding, guys. Pat Riley always wants to be competitive. That's one thing you got to know about him. Even when they lost LeBron, they try to remain competitive. Suns first finals in almost 30 years, bro. And that's just the thing. This guy averaged 15-10 for them. Can you imagine what he'll do alongside Luka and LeBron? And Austin was also a very underrated playmaker. Come on. Sharon, what's up, Sharon? Good morning. She said, Ayton stepped up. Coming to the Lakers ain't easy. A lot of players say no. Well, a lot of players say no because they're scared, right? Scared money doesn't make money, though. And DeAndre Ayton was smart enough to figure that out. He said, I struck out in Phoenix, right, as the number 1 overall pick. Clearly, I was not better than, Trae Young Luka, guys like that. I haven't made that type of an impact in my career. So I struck out in Phoenix. They traded me to Portland. I struck out in Portland. So that's strike 2. He's like, for strike 3, I cannot be out. I cannot get another strike. I got to go somewhere where the light shines the brightest, where we actually compete for a title and where they already have established stars and established stars that I like. Because let's be honest, DeAndre Ayton has a good relationship. We've seen the clips and everything, with Luka, and they both have the same agent. A lot of the times what people don't understand is that this is a buddy-buddy league. I personally don't like that. However, in this case, we benefited from it. By them both having the same agent, I'm sure they were in communication. I told you guys, based on my source, when I heard DeAndre Ayton had gotten bought out, based on my source, it sounded like they already had a verbal agreement, behind the scenes with the Lakers. You just can't report stuff like that simply because you're not supposed to make any negotiations while you're under contract, right? But this stuff happens all the time in the NBA. So, they had that relationship. It only made sense that the number 1 overall pick and a top 4 pick would team up. This has been happening since the LeBron James era, since LeBron James, D Wade, and Chris Bosh team up, same draft class. And ever since then, players have been making relationships through their agents and communicating with one another and plotting, teaming up together. And DeAndre Ayton saw a golden opportunity. And make no mistake, he picked the Lakers before he even got bought out. All right, based on everything I heard. This is why I was so sure. I said 90% before anybody reported it. That's why, legitimate information that I had right there. Hey, welcome to the squad, man. Appreciate you, David. He meant Horford, people. Yeah, Al Horford. Did I say Harrington? Al Horford, my bad. There's a lot of Al's in the history of the NBA. My apologies. Yeah, Al Horford. For sure. Thank you for correcting it. Pat Riley wants Wiggins gone. He wants Wiggins gone, but he wants maximum return, right? And even though, again, I like Wiggins, I like him a lot. I think he could be a major part of this team. He's not worth that price of admission, right? He's not worth all of that, if I'm being honest. My guy Will set to trade Dalton, a first rounder, and a young, more productive player needs to be included. Facts. Absolutely. D Free says here in the 7-team trade is just all the trades we've already heard of, just bunched into one. And to not expect anything different, teams just grouped it all together. Well, remember, our name was not thrown in that hat eventually. So the fact that our name is thrown in that hat gives me hope. And I was just going to talk about that. So perfect timing. So again, the report is that the Rockets Suns are working on expanding a Kevin Durant trade into a deal that would involve a league record. Never been done before. 7 teams, all right? Other teams involved in negotiations include the Hawks, the Nets, the Warriors, the Wolves, and most importantly, the Lakers. Now, it is a lot of the stuff we've heard for sure, but I believe an extra player might be included. Maybe like a Cam Whitmore, who the Lakers been interested in. Maybe a player like that can be included, to make the money work for the Rockets. The Rockets are trying to clear enough cap. This is why they expanded the trade to sign, obviously, to trade for Durant and to sign Capella as well as their current free agents. So maybe they might be inclined to throw in an extra piece. Maybe this has something to do with the Nick Richards inquiry. Who knows? We don't know the full details, but I look forward to breaking that down when and if it does happen. Right? JB said, so what the Heat really want is to be in the first round purgatory? I guess so, man. I guess so. It makes no sense. But this is, I like the fact that this trade came out, that they're interested in Rui and Dalton, because a lot of haters say that Rui has no trade value. It's like, do you guys watch basketball? Rui has tremendous potential. He's entering the prime of his career. What is he, 26, 27? He's entering the prime of his career. He's got potential. And teams out there that are smart will want to capitalize and bring him in for sure, right? So all the casuals out there that say, oh, Rui's washed, or oh, he doesn't, no. There's definitely teams out there interested in Rui, which I've been saying all along. Same thing with Austin. Same thing with Rui. Same thing with Dalton. We have assets and trade chips. It's just teams are trying to swindle us, which is why you see Rob Pelinka kind of stay a little patient. He doesn't want to make a move from a desperate standpoint. I think he finally learned from the whole Russell Westbrook situation. So, yeah. Jerry, appreciate the super chat, brother. He said trade for Whitmore and Richards Forget about Wiggins, veteran minimum for Simmons. Ben Simmons is still out there. We forget about that. You know who's still out there? Chris Paul. Chris Paul is still out there, and there's a reason for it. According to multiple reports, this guy wants to start. Chris Paul, CP3. Starting is going to be really hard to find that on any team, with the exception of maybe a mediocre team like the Clippers. Maybe there you can go and start because they don't really have any sense of direction. They just put talent together and hope it works out. That's what they've been doing from the beginning of time, right? So yeah. Karan said, appreciate the daily streams, bro. It's hard getting up to date info in England. Big up Lake Show. I got you, man. And anybody else who who wants all things Lakers / NBA, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. Again, I do appreciate you, man, for the kind words. It's my pleasure always to bring you guys everything daily, especially when it pertains to free agency. I will be covering, I always cover pre-games and post-games for everything, including Summer League, preseason, everything. So keep it locked if you're interested in that as well. Subscribe, guys. Do not forget it. And hit that like button. I do appreciate you guys. For us, it's the draft pick trades, supposedly. The draft pick trades? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's included in there. I can't wait to break it down, man. It'll be fun once it officially goes down, assuming we get anything back. Assuming we get anything back of value right there. Appreciate you. Brains, appreciate you, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Let's see. Let's see how long this 17 trade takes. It can take a while. Again, sometimes these trades take a few hours, sometimes a few days. Most times a few days, because they got to get all the kinks correct. They got to make sure the money works. Remember the new CBA, a lot of these teams have to make, exact dollar trades. So, yeah, they're probably just ironing out the kinks for sure. But I'll be here to break it as soon as it happens. No worries. Ben Simmons can defend 1 through 5, make Vando expendable. That's just the thing right there. I do not want to bring in Ben Simmons while we still have Vando. You do not want to have too many players that can't shoot. Ben Simmons has always been a great defender. At one point, he was an all-star. And then his career went into the gutter after those quote-unquote injuries, right? So, where he lands is very intriguing for sure. I would not mind him, but we already have Vando. That's the problem, right? And who do I prefer between him and Vando? Vando. Vando's a better defender. He has better instincts and a better motor. So I prefer Vando still, if I'm being honest. But if we are going to trade Vando, then I agree with your take. I'll definitely look to bring in a Ben Simmons for sure. Sharon said, it was amazing to be here when Rui, Max, and Austin all took that giant step up. Oh, absolutely. Oh, my God. Max Christie was tremendous. Rui in the playoffs last year was tremendous. And Austin had an amazing regular season. Let's hope he can have a great postseason. Yo, what up, D? What's cracking, man? I noticed you, bro. I noticed you. Stanley Johnson requires no picks. Got up. Get up, your boy. Yeah, listen, man. Stanley, and again, I've talked to him. Stanley Johnson, he's got a high motor. He's the type of player that he's a glue guy that fits any team. So I just hope that my boy gets a job. Yes, it would be awesome if he gets it with the Lakers. He played for the South Bay Lakers last year, and he played pretty awesome. And he's improved his jump shot over his career. So, of course, he would be a great acquisition for us. But just regardless, wherever he goes, I just hope he lands a job because he's better than some of these guys in the NBA for sure. All right, I'll say that straight up. And no disrespect to those other guys. That's why I didn't name him, but he's better. And you're right about that. Stanley Johnson would be awesome. He's got good size as well. He can play small ball big, and he can play small forward and even shooting guard. So he can play like 3 positions, 2 through 4. I really like his versatility for sure. I think he start easy on Milwaukee. He would start on teams he's linked to. He played 82 games, averaged 8 assists while starting in San Antonio. Oh, we're talking about Chris Paul. Chris Paul, yeah, he could start for some mediocre team for sure. I mean, he would be a good pickup for the Milwaukee Bucks. They're not mediocre, but the Clippers, oh, man, don't make me laugh. The Suns, hilarious. Those two fits right there. The Lakers would be an awesome fit, but he's not starting here with us. We got Luka. We don't want a Luka, Chris Paul backcourt. At least I don't. I don't want that. I don't speak for everybody here, but personally me, I do not want to see that slow defensive backcourt. Bro, there are 100s of times Ben has given up layups. Yeah, I know for a fact Ben Simmons is not a great offensive player, but we were talking specifically defense here. Ben Simmons could benefit some team defensively, right? And but I don't know. There's something. It's more of a mental issue with Ben because the talent has always been there. Why not a 2019 trade? Again, it's all about making the money work, right? Dan, would you rather trade for Wiggins or Drew? Wow. Drew Holiday had a major injury last year, right? So he wasn't as impactful, which is part of the reason the Celtics traded him. So I prefer the younger piece, and we need a wing more than a guard, if I'm being honest. Well, both would be solid pickups. If we're training for a guard, I'm still high on Marcus Smart. Still am, in spite of D-Free thinking he's old at 31. High on Marcus Smart. If he becomes available at the trade deadline, I say we take a swing. Deuce trade isn't official yet. He's not technically a Laker. Those picks trades to move up 19 spots can't go through until the 7th. Like all those other trades, that's where we slot into this, I guess. Yeah, I'm just hoping, like I said, I hope they throw in an extra piece like Whitmore just to make the money work for themselves. That'd be great. Whitmore's been linked to the Lakers. Lakers been interested in Whitmore since we didn't draft him, right? Since we took Jalen Hood-Schifino over both him and Jaime Jaquez, which was a huge mistake. Rob Pelinka has a golden opportunity here to right his wrongs just by, including him in the package. Hopefully it does happen. I've always been a fan of his, and, that'd be tremendous. Dan, what's your free agent grade so far? Off the top, I'll tell you, it's inconclusive because I got to wait till free agency is over. I'll probably give you guys the grades for every team that made major moves probably after July, like 15th. Once we know for sure what the free agent moves have been and, how everybody looks. But for now, I'll tell you who are some of the teams that stand out. The Houston Rockets are clearly winning free agency. Denver's up there with them. The Atlanta Hawks were tremendous this entire summer. Like, there's a couple of teams that really stand out. And then, the Lakers did a good move with DeAndre Ayton, but we still got some work to do. And this is why I'm here live with you guys talking about that work that hopefully we will get accomplished over the next course of the, next couple of weeks. My guy, James, says Ben Simmons is a low-risk, high-reward option for a defensive presence, especially if the Lakers sign Al Horford to add to the second unit. Again, I don't mind Ben Simmons. My only issue is we still got Vando, Ben Simmons. Can you imagine a lineup of Vando and Ben Simmons out there? Like, you really don't have to guard anybody at that point. Just clog the paint and take away the lanes, right? Because we're not going to shoot. So, again, when you have players like Vando and Ben Simmons, at times, offensively, it feels like you're playing 5-on-4. And it becomes really hard to generate offense, I'll still take Al Horford over Ben Simmons. I know Ben Simmons is a cool name, but I'll take Al Horford any day, man. I'll take a champion, a versatile big man who can actually shoot and space the floor. He would help us tremendously, and he provides that insurance policy off the bench for sure. But Ben Simmons intrigues depending on what happens with Vando, for sure, right? Do you see any trades happening today before the 4th of July? Maybe that Rockets 17 deal, but outside of that, things have kind of dissipated a little bit. The Lakers are no longer super desperate for starting caliber big since we have our guy, and we'll go from there for sure. But it might take a couple of days till the Lakers actually get more stuff done. We'll see. I do know there's free agents that are waiting. I don't know what they're waiting for, but they're waiting either for affirmation from somebody. Like, for example, Chris Paul wants a starting job. There's that. Different free agents are waiting for different things, right? So that is definitely interesting, and we're going to keep an eye on that, right? Apparently, though, what we're hearing from Shams is the Lakers are still working, to reinforce that front line. So, again, the reports were that we offered the biannual $5.7 million or $5.6 million exception to Al Horford. Will he accept that? Again, the favorites are still the Warriors based on everything we're hearing, right? So, yeah, things are still going to get very interesting. If we do get Al Horford, I think I got to give us an A+ this offseason for sure. There's no way around it. That would be really nice if we get Al Horford. People underestimate the value of a veteran who's a champion. I think he would work wonders with DeAndre Ayton as far as helping him mature and fully reach his potential. Like, that would be nice. right? But right now, the latest report as of 9 minutes ago from Basketball Real GM and other sources is that the Lakers are working to sign another free agent center. Most likely that free agent center is Al Horford. However, there's a couple of other prospects out there. Bol is interesting, right? Who remembers that year he had with the Magic where he was very, very good? He's always intrigued me. But again, more on the younger side, even though he's technically a vet. He's 26. Yeah, there's still some people out there, man, who are available. KD, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. In 2025, Ben Simmons is a small ball 5, good ball mover, short roller passer, etc. That has value, but that's his primary usage. Don't know how we need that. Definitely not a need. Would be a luxury if you got rid of certain players. That, you know, we can't have too much of the same. We cannot have too much of the same at all. Let's see here. My guy said Ben is a two-way player. We need more versatility. Two-way player. I don't know about two-way. I know one-way. Defensive and rebounding and playmaking, great. If you want to call that two-way, then so be it. But two-way usually is reserved for offensive and defenses. He's not an offensive player at all. All right. He's basically Rondo without the layup package. Rondo had a way better layup package than Ben Simmons ever could imagine. So the Rockets don't have minutes for Whitmore. They couldn't even play lottery pick Shepherd last year. They should move him for sure. And they should move him to a team like the Lakers. We're looking to get younger from the wings and from the shooting guard position. He'd be perfect here. Man, when he played us, he lit us up. He looked like he was sending a message for the fact that we didn't pick him up. And it hurt so much to watch that because, you know, young players, they're so feisty and so hungry, especially when you pass on them. And he did that, man. He impressed me. And he has impressed me throughout his career in low-minute spurts that they have given him. And he's been able to stay professional for the most part. There's been a couple of hiccups between him and Ime Udoka and some comments that were interesting and caught the eyes of some reporters, but nothing major, man. So I definitely bring him in. I don't think, I don't think it's a problem. Celtics stand out because they shed salary in a generational way. They may get a high lottery pick in their gap year next season. God forbid it. But yeah, the Celtics are always trolling. They're always looking for ways to be pesky and getting away with murder and offloading all these contracts and giving up minimal assets to do so. Vitali, good question. He is weighing his options right now. All right. Sources say that he's likely to land with the Warriors. I don't know what the Warriors are doing with Kuminga or if that has anything to do with what they want to offer Al Horford. But let's be honest, the market is dry, which actually benefits the Lakers. I think we actually have a horse in the race with some of these free agents, right? Guys like Al Horford are considering the Lakers as well, which is something we haven't heard in years. Usually our money's dry and everybody else is getting the tier 1 free agents. This year, we went out, we got DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia. You know, DeAndre Ayton is a B tier free agent. He's not an A tier, but he's a B tier. A lot of potential, has a chance to make an impact. Jake LaRavia is like a C tier free agent. Potential, but still young, wet between the ears. Could be one of those players that helps you win the margins, as Rob likes to say. But nothing is really like there was in this entire free agency. There wasn't really any A tier free agents. Can you guys name one? Right? Because even Horford and all these guys are B or C tier. Right. So I think considering all of that, so far we've done a great job. We can do an amazing job had we landed like a Brook Lopez or if we land like an Al Horford to back us up. All of a sudden it becomes an A+ off season because now you're getting multiple B tier free agents to add to your A tier players that you already have in LeBron and Luka and your B+ tier players like Austin. So all of a sudden our roster will look very contingent, man. It would look like we are a contender, right? And I would absolutely love that because a lot of the pundits and the haters and the mainstream media saying that the Lakers are looking to punt this season away. No, we're not. We're not. Contrary to what people say, we got Luka. We're trying to sign that extension in August the 2nd, right? And I think Luka's very happy from what I've heard with the DeAndre Ayton acquisition. If we can get one more of these big name guys, then I think, hey, man, you might as well start signing on the dotted line right now. Luka's here to stay regardless, but hey, what up, sis? Good to see you. Appreciate you. Thank you for regulating. You and Kimmy Goat, my favorite mods. Appreciate y'all. Horford looks good with the Celtics because all their guys can defend. Well, he would look good with us, JD, because he'd be coming off the bench. Okay, most importantly. And there even was a rumor that we might run a 2 big man lineup with Ayton at the 5 and Horford at the 4. I'm not opposed to that. I've always liked 2 big man lineups. So I'm not sure if Horford is still capable of playing more than 20 minutes per game, but you know, it would be awesome. Thank you, Kimmy Goat. Appreciate you as well. Awesome. You guys are all awesome. All right. Kylo Ren, appreciate you, my guy. Why DTLF should be a Westbrook fan? No off-court issues, doesn't mess with IG or OnlyFan models, only gives 100% effort and doesn't chat the fans, just balls out and takes care of his family. Whoa, my guy donated $10 to tell me why I should be a fan of a player that Lakers Nation will never be a fan of. True Laker fans will never be a fan of Russell Westbrook because he was a horrible locker room cancer. I've been, on the records to tell you guys, everybody has their own personal life off the court. I usually don't critique that unless it's something really negative where it impacts on the court stuff. Westbrook seems to be a great dude, Kylo, and appreciate the super chat, bro. He seems to be a great dude off the court. On the court, he's a complete fucking asshole. I'm sorry to break it to you like this, but I got to be honest. On the court, he's an asshole. He's always arguing with fans, and not every time it's his fault. Right? Some fans are jackasses as well, and they say racist and stupid shit all the time. But there's other cases where he just gets upset because they call him Westbrook and like little petty shit like that. I'm not a fan of that. All right, that fragileness of him not focusing on the court and worried about what fans got to think and say. Fans in the history of time, fans have always been very outspoken. Some have been more rude than others. Right? You got to focus on the court, and then off the court. I wasn't a fan of the way he would destroy great reporters and classy guys like Mike Trudell. I don't like that. You got to be professional. When these reporters are asking you questions, you don't got to give them a hard time about it. Just answer the fucking question. I'll never be a fan of Russ because he just had a bad attitude, and then he makes silly mistakes. Don't get me started about the on the court stuff. His IQ for a point guard is not as high as other starting caliber point guards, and then he wants to start. He still thinks he's Russ of OKC. So respectfully, even though I do appreciate the super chat, I decline, bro. I will never be a fan of Russ, regardless of what he does off the court. There's a lot of great players off the court. Matter of fact, one guy that they criticize a lot, and they call him lazy and all this and that, is currently in his motherland of Jamaica, giving back to the community, and that's DeAndre Ayton, newly acquired DeAndre Ayton. So there you go. A lot of narratives off the court are false. But one thing I've never criticized Russ for is off the court, outside of maybe his wardrobe, because I'm not sure he's from LA the way he be dressing, right? He out here dressing like he's from Oklahoma. Like he's from OKC. He's from somewhere else, man. Oklahoma City. Let's see. Warriors are locked into a 3-team trade with Detroit and Sacramento, with Kuminga landing in Sacktown. So it's finally happening, huh? It's finally happening. That's crazy, man. First of all, one thing I'd like to say about Kuminga is they really dropped the ball with him. That kid has star potential, still does. And I'm sure he'll go somewhere and probably flourish better, assuming they don't get in his way. That would be awesome, man. If that trade does happen, I'm happy for the kid because I feel like Golden State held him nasty. They held him back. I do feel like that. My guy says, we don't need Cam Whitmore. We have the wing version of him and Adu Thero. Well, actually, CJ, I think they're two completely different players. Cam Whitmore is a certified bucket. He's basically Malik Monk in the making, right? If he ever lives up to his potential. Meanwhile, Adu Thero, we hope, becomes a 3-and-D wing. He has to work on the 3 because he shot very low in his collegiate career. But the player development group hopefully gets him right there. He seems more like an OG Anunoby, right? So if we can get like a Malik Monk type player, prototype, and if we can get like a OG Anunoby archetype, right, or like a Pascal Siakam type, I'm not saying those guys will ever live up to that hype, but just hypothetically speaking, then yes, you do it. You can never have enough young talent anyways, right? We're looking to get younger, so I would definitely take on Cam Whitmore. There was a lot of dead roster spots on this team last year anyways. We can get rid of some of those and bring back actual potential and talent. That'd be awesome. If Ayton lives up to his potential, A+, big facts. He's got a lot of potential. He always has. 50 guys, he averages 15 and 10 for his career. He had an off year last year. But his first 12 games of last year, I think he was averaging 25 and 12, right? So the potential is there. Imagine what he could do alongside two bucket getters and playmakers like LeBron and Luka and Austin. I keep forgetting about Austin, but that's really three of them. That's going to leave you a lot of open looks, a lot of lobs, a lot of pick and roll pops, a lot of different sets that they're going to be able to run with DeAndre. And most likely, a lot of times, he's going to be able to grab it off the backboard and put it back in because Luka and LeBron are going to do the primary of the, and Austin, they're going to be the primary scorers. So the pressure's off of him. He's not going to be on too many teams scouting reports other than box him out and keep him off the glass. And that's going to free him up for some wide open looks, whether it's mid-range, three-point shot, or at the rim, right? So Rui and a pick swap should do just fine to get Wiggins. Rui is broken, brain dead, but he's not a scrub. Oh, sis, you crack me up. You always have a love-hate relationship with Rui, and it always makes me laugh on Twitter. I love it. Yeah, Rui is inconsistent. That's the biggest issue about Rui. He went off in the playoffs again. He's had like 2 out of the last 3 or 4 great playoffs that we've had. He's had some good runs. He's just inconsistent, and he gets tunnel vision. Sometimes there's a 2-on-3 fast break, and instead of kicking it out or resetting and waiting for the rest of his teammates, he will attack that triple team, and he will miss the layup, and then it'll cost us a shot, a wide open 3 or something, going back the other way. So I see what you mean, but you crack me up. That's funny. That's funny. She said brain dead. Rui, yeah, he hasn't lived up to his full potential yet. I don't know if he'll ever get there, but for the right piece, I'd definitely be willing to trade him. Wiggins is the right piece, by the way. Kyle Cruz. He said, Dan, non-basketball question. Nice. He said, living in H-Town, I am curious about what it's like living in LA. Well, I currently stay about 50 minutes out of LA. I'm in the Inland Empire, but I grew up, born and raised in Compton, California. And it's beautiful, man. Living in Los Angeles makes you very outgoing. My personality is a Los Angeles personality. We're outgoing, outspoken people. We're friendly. Contrary to what the news says about us, we're not all gang violent. It doesn't work like that. There's gangs in every community, in every city, right? And you go to the wrong part of, I'm sure, Houston, there's gang violence there, anywhere. So Los Angeles is very neighbor friendly. Like the biggest difference that I noticed from living in LA and Compton growing up to living here where I live now is that out there, every single neighbor's name. Shout out Miss Rose, shout out to Spike, shout out everybody. You go outside, everybody says what's up. You're very friendly, man. They even invite you to have meals with them in their crib. All right. Here, everybody keeps to themselves. Everybody's different. People do say hi and stuff because I'm outgoing, so you kind of have to initiate it. But at the end of the day, like it's a lot of difference night and day. So I don't know how H-Town might be, but LA is very friendly, bro. Very, very friendly. He pouts a lot too. Rui, well, the only thing that rubbed me wrong about Rui is that I didn't think he was I did not think he was gonna, or he should have been starting over Dalton when Dalton was going off. I didn't like that. It gave me, Taurean Prince with Darvin Ham vibes. I don't like favorites. When a rookie is going off for 30s in his rookie season, you let that rookie start because you might have the next big thing. Instead, JJ ripped his confidence away and completely destroyed it, and he was never the same after that. And we even traded him, further destroying his confidence, and then rescinded the trade, further destroying his confidence. And then people want to act like he was a bust. It's like, no, the kid's confidence was destroyed. JJ made a horrible mistake, and I called it right when it happened. And, that's the only thing I didn't like about Rui is the favoritism. I like Rui as a player. I think he's good, solid role player. I don't know if he'll ever be more than 13 and 5 rebounds, right? We want him to be at least 15 and 8, but he might be a 13 and 5 guy for the rest of his career. He just doesn't seem to have the same motor that other guys his size and with his athleticism possess. And that's the unfortunate thing. But who knows? Could be wrong. Maybe this is a breakout year. We'll see. The problem with Jonathan was that he couldn't shoot and he couldn't make quick decisions with the basketball. Golden State's offense requires a lot of high IQ reads and react plays. It's not for everyone. The real problem with Kuminga was Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr had placed a lot of favorites. We saw for Team USA guys like Halliburton, who made the finals, and Jason Tatum, who won the championship after he got benched, didn't play. So that's the biggest problem for Kuminga. Underdevelopment, due to the fact that Kerr didn't believe in you. And Kerr didn't believe in you partially, in part because of some of those things you said, D-Free. So you're partially right about that. But his biggest obstacle was the coach, and that's why he needs to hit the refresher, right? Dan, are you a fan of signing Herb Jones? He's under contract, isn't he, Carlo? I'm a big fan of Herb Jones, but I like Trey Murphy III better. You know, if we can get somebody like that, then I'm willing to give that first pick and Dalton and whatever else they want. You know, Trey Murphy III is a hooper, guys, and that's the type of player the Lakers should be targeting. I don't know if we will be targeting, right? We inquired about their rookie from last season, but I didn't hear anything about Trey Murphy III. So it definitely is interesting. And but there's a lot of players that could fit this roster now that we're starting to round out. We got our big, obviously we got Luka, we got LeBron, we still got Austin. You know, like looking at this roster, and I'm gonna pull it up right here real quick. See if I can pull it up. Yeah, looking at this roster, guys, there's one thing that stands out to me like tremendously, and it's our lack of defense. Now, obviously, DeAndre can hold his own in the paint, but Luka and Austin in the backcourt for me is still a no-go. LeBron is 1 year older, and then Rui can defend in spurts, but he's not known as a defender. So we're desperately lacking that defense, which we had with DFS before he chose to leave. So that is why the Wiggins rumors, you're going to hear a lot of that, because Wiggins would solve a lot of that. You know, now we'd have instead of starting Austin, I would start Wiggins, or instead of starting Rui, I would start Wiggins, and now we would have some really good, like, cool shit there as far as versatility goes. I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you, Jack. Thor Jack, appreciate you, man. But that is our starting lineup for now. If this was the lineup we went into next season with, I wouldn't be mad at it, right? But it doesn't scream championship contender yet. We're close, but it doesn't scream championship contender yet. What it does scream is probably the most dangerous team in the first and second rounds. You want to avoid us. But it doesn't scream. I'm not getting championship contender from this starting lineup. Now, remove Rui and put in Wiggins, or remove Austin and put in Wiggins. Now we're having a conversation. Austin helped get LaRavia. He ain't going nowhere. Probably not. Probably not. The Lakers have always loved Austin, rightfully so. Right? He's like our golden ticket, man. We got this guy undrafted, and he's becoming a star right before our eyes. I think that's something Laker fans have always wanted, to be able to compete for titles and homegrown our own star players that we either draft or, in this case, undrafted, right? So, yeah, most likely Austin ain't going nowhere unless, like, somebody like Bam becomes available. Then we can have that conversation. But for now, let's see. Everything you said about Rui, Austin Reeves was worse. In the playoffs, yes, but not in the regular season, Mike Jones. Let's not have selective memory here. In the regular season, Austin Reeves had a borderline all-star year, okay? 20-6. All right, Rui did not have that type of year, although his numbers did improve after we got Luka Doncic. Rui benefited from that for a bit. But and we're talking about overall year. Austin had a way better year than Rui. Let's not cap here. Mike Jones. He said, I like Rui, but Wiggins fits the team better. Oh, absolutely. If we're talking about pure fit, yes. Wiggins is the guy for sure. Abso-freaking-lutely. Let's see. D-Free says, I believe Rui is still the all-time leading three-point shooter in percentage in playoff history, actually. Very small sample size, but yes, he's been very impressive, especially in the postseason. And this is why I do like Rui, right? He can be an X factor. I said it before the playoffs started last year. He could be an X factor. But, again, very small sample size, only in the first round. I would have loved to see that continue to happen, you know? Continue to happen for sure. Let's see. Mike Jones, nah, bro. You're not from LA. LA is very friendly. You watch too many movies, bro. You got to touch grass sometimes. LA is very friendly. Trust me. I got plenty of LA natives here that know exactly what I'm talking about. LA is super friendly. Sure, you have your rough areas and stuff like that. And, you know, there's places you don't go wearing certain colors. But LA is super friendly, man. It's not everybody's like that, bro. I grew up in Compton, California, in a gated community called Park Village. It's now called Jasmine Gardens. And even though there was a lot of gun violence and a lot of stuff like that, for the most part, you know, all your neighbors kept their head down, worked hard, and were friendly as hell, man. I have great memories as a kid growing up there. You know, but yeah, gun violence is not ideal. And unfortunately, in any hood area, it's going to happen. But, it's very friendly. LA is very friendly. You just got to know how your way around it. Somebody at the top must grow a pair, otherwise we will be stockpiling talent for JJ to only play 8 of his favorites. How long do we give him before he gets fired or lack of maximizing the roster? I know what you mean, Die Hard. Good to see you, brother, by the way. Good morning, or is it afternoon? Good afternoon. Good morning still. The thing about JJ is he had the worst playoff that we could have imagined. He did. He made the wrong side of history. He did horrible things, right? But I still believe in him, bro. I think he's going to learn from this. He's stubborn as a mule, but I feel like he's going to learn from this postseason. And he didn't trust players, which was wrong, but our roster did have gaping holes in it, to be fair. I believe he'll have a much better season next year. If he does not, then we can revisit this conversation. If he does not have a better playoff in this upcoming season, then he definitely deserves to get canned, because LA, Lakers, whether it's fair or not, when you come to the Lakers, there's extremely high expectations from the moment you land, right? Then in Houston, people are friendly as well. I love that. See, I love major cities where people everybody knows everybody, man. I knew every neighbor's name. I knew everybody. Antoine on my left, Miss Rose on my right, Spike up front, Randy, Pedro, Christian. I knew everybody around the neighborhood, and everybody was so friendly, man. They would invite me to their crib. They thought I was a cute kid to come eat pancakes and stuff like that, play Super Nintendo. Like, good memories, bro, of the neighborhood. So again, sometimes mainstream media portrays us as all negative and stuff. And Compton wasn't like that. I remember when I moved here, everybody would ask me where I was from. When I said Compton, they would think I was going to start some problems and stuff, like my teachers and stuff, but I didn't. I'm not problematic, y'all, at all. Nobody wants to play with Austin Reeves? Okay. Now I know you're trolling. Tamika, good to see you. Tamika, how you doing today, my friend? They're going to ask Reeves for Trey Murphy? Well, you know what, man? I'll be honest with you, man. If they can throw in Jose Alvarado, they throw in a first-round pick and Trey Murphy, we'll give him Austin Reeves. That's what Austin Reeves is worth. Austin Reeves has actually played on winning teams. Can't say the same for Trey Murphy. Even though I like him better as a fit here, can't say the same. I wouldn't do it. They throw in a first-round pick in Alvarado. Trey Murphy, first-round pick Alvarado for Austin. Let's get it done. Sure. It's going to take a good deal to get me to come off of Austin Reeves if I'm Rob Pelinka. Kerr flat out said Kuminga doesn't work when used with Draymond, but especially in a 3-man pairing with Butler, which I get. He didn't ever develop into a decent shooter. Again, man, I don't like what Steve Kerr does with young players. How many young players has he actually developed, man? Steve Kerr, right? A lot of the young players developed under Mark Jackson. And then Steve Kerr swooped in and won a championship the very next year. So he benefited from that crop that Mark Jackson had already developed. I don't give Steve Kerr that credit, man. I think this dude is a vulture. He swooped in and yeah, he did what he had to do, but still, I've never been a fan of his. I didn't like what he did with Team USA, even though they won the gold medal based off the sheer talent we had. Shout out to LeBron and everybody who helped win that gold medal. But I never, and if you go into Warrior forums, they'll agree with me. Steve Kerr, very overrated head coach. Very overrated. Dan, I've heard that LA traffic is really bad. Are people being over dramatic, or is it really what people claim it is? Oh no, LA traffic is always bad. But when you have a city that's so overly populated like that, it's gonna be bad. It's normal. But there's also traffic hours. You got to know the days and the times and what freeways to travel. You should be straight, but you're bound to run into some traffic here and there. But it's definitely not a deal breaker unless you work in the city and you got to get there at a certain hour every day. Then you probably have to leave like an hour early just to make sure you get there. So yeah, I can see why it could become a nuisance. But for me personally, when I lived there, even when I worked there, because even living here 50 minutes away, there was a time when I was driving back and forth. I always knew how to navigate around the traffic. So he's also turned down a $30 million extension this time last year. Bet on himself and lost. I feel bad for Kuminga, bro. He just got drafted by the wrong team. That's it. And he should have known he got drafted by the wrong team when, as soon as they drafted him, the fan base started calling him cum buckets. It's like, dog, yo, get me out of here, bro. Don't play with my name like that. That's crazy. If Austin is off the bench, how many minutes Is he playing per game? Because off the bench or starting, he has to play alongside those guys a lot. I get your point, but I think the in-game lineups are key. He still has to play over 30 minutes. Austin is a closer. He's a beast, right? He's got the ball handle. He's got the ability to put the ball in the basket and to create for others. He's got to play over 30 minutes. Here's the difference. When you don't start him, you set the tone in games early. So even when he comes off the bench, he's going to follow suit, right? Because the tone has been set. If you had a better defensive guard, let's just say like Marcus Smart or Wiggins per se, those guys are going to come in, set the tone defensively. You're probably going to go when Austin comes off the bench, you're probably going to have a lead most times. Not every time, but most times because the tone has been set defensively. And you already have enough scoring power with Luka and LeBron in the starting lineup. Now you're bringing in some firepower off the bench. He's as a primary. His numbers might not dip a lot. They might actually improve because now he's a primary scorer, primary ball handler for sure all the time, not just sometimes. And he's able to catch his rhythm better. So I think it would benefit him. Just like I used to with Manu Ginobili, who, by the way, ironically, I compared him to him since, he hit that game winner in Summer League and he was going crazy in Summer League. So, I think Austin is game unless he's a point guard, which I love what the Lakers did there when they put him at point guard before Luka got traded here. He was killing at the point guard, averaging over 9 assists, playing some solid defense. He was guarding smaller guards. They were able to disguise him a lot more within the scheme of the defenses when he was playing point guard. So unless he was on a team playing point guard, I do not want him on my starting lineup. And I love Austin Reeves. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Austin, but I love the Lakers more. And I want the Lakers to succeed, and it's going to be really hard to succeed with a backcourt of Luka and Austin, unless you have an insane 3-and-D wing defender with an insane, defensive power forward and an insane defensive center. Then that will make up for a lot of the liabilities we have with Luka and with Austin. Here's something to talk about, though. Something of note is that the Lakers, as far as Luka Doncic getting in shape, he might look better defensively next year. He might look a lot better next year defensively. LA and San Diego, people laid back for the most part. Facts. Absolutely. We get a negative rap, but like Stormtrooper said, LA is friendly even in the gang territories. I grew up in Compton, man. I still remember the Bloods and the Crips and the Pyrus and the Tortilla Flats and all of them. And for the most part, yeah, there was gang violence from time to time, but there was boundaries. Like you didn't mess with certain families. You didn't mess with people's kids and stuff like that, for the most part. Because Los Angeles used to be friendly native people. Now they're all fake. Transit. I don't live in LA currently, but my family's there. And my family's awesome people. So we can't speak for everybody here. CPT 310, man. West Corregidor Street in the building. Yes, sir. He said it's over his entire career, but yeah, not the craziest sample size. But the point is, he's a playoff riser. You need guys like that. I love Rui. I'm not trying to actively trade Rui, but if the right package comes along, same thing with Austin. Right package comes along, then they can both go like a coin flip. We could just flip them out there, man, and hopefully we land on heads instead of tails, meaning we win the trade, right? Born and raised from another state and never had issues. Very nice people. There you go. And you know what I love about my LA natives, and I think we're still one of the best cities, if not the best in the world, is that so many different cultures. And LA is the least racist city in America, which is my favorite thing about us. We're so diverse, man. I didn't been to cookouts. I didn't been to potlucks. I didn't had African food. I didn't had Samoan food. I didn't had everything, man. Living in, growing up in Los Angeles, and you're really colorblind. I really didn't understand race or racism till I moved out of LA, and people started being racist against me. Like when I worked down in Riverside, somebody told me to wait outside when I was in sports marketing. I was, going around offering stuff, to business owners. Yeah, I quit day one because people were so racist. I wanted to fight people. They were telling me to wait outside, bro. That's the first time I ever felt racism. And it was one of my first jobs when I was like, 16, 17? I forgot how old I was. I was extremely young. And yeah, people were, man, that's when I found out about racism. But growing up in LA, I didn't even know about it because we had all kinds of neighbors from all kinds of ethnicities and all kinds of cultures and backgrounds. And that's probably my favorite thing about LA, just how much of a melting pot it is for all kinds of beautiful, beautiful cultures. Let's see. Yo, Dan. My guy Alchemy says, yo, Dan, have you read the rumor that Austin does not want to play with Luka? Does that mean he's going to be traded? That is a fake rumor. All right. His representatives came out here and emphatically denied it. Don't believe every rumor you guys read. Okay. People are trying to stir things up. They're trying to get news stories. They're trying to clickbait you guys. Don't believe it. If it ain't coming from me, it's probably not credible, because I only report on credible stuff. I would have went live if that was true. I would have went live, I promise you. But yeah, that is not a true rumor. All right. Let's see. The friendliest people are in the outer boroughs of New York. You might be right, but I can't say because I haven't been there. I can't personally attest to that. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat. Murphy runs circles around Reeves. Not as a playmaker, but as a scorer and defender, yes. As far because he has the good size, I would love Trey Murphy the third. Like I said, that's a trade I would do for sure. Let's see here. Steve Kerr. Let's see. Dan, what's your GM coach combo you want when new ownership takes over? Well, I haven't given up on JJ Redick yet. I'm not at the point where, like some of my friends, shout out to Diehard, are already calling him JJ pathetic. But a GM, I like Masai Ujiri. Big fan of Bob Myers. Big fan of Bob Myers. And I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what they do. I'm gonna be patient, right? Tara says the 405 is horrible. Really? We're talking about the freeway. I thought you were talking about the area code. My bad. Wait, we talking about area code or freeway? I'm a little confused. Which one is it? Let's see. He's got some guys. He's been coaching for 10 years. Even the last year, Pods and Post took a step forward. There was GP2 and others as well. But I agree. Also, all the fans and their coaches, even Heat fans. Yeah, most of us fans do hate our coaches for sure. Yeah, that's crazy. When I heard that shit, I was like, oh man, if I was Kuminga, I would have wanted out. D3. When I heard they were giving him the nickname Cum Buckets, I mean, it's creative and it's funny, but it's not very flattering. Hey, Dan, what do you think Golden State is willing to take back Saric in that 3-team trade if they are going after Horford? Do I think Golden State is willing to take back Saric? Yeah, maybe, for sure. I think Golden State is willing to take back something in order to get to the final destination, which is Al Horford. That's what they want. But thing about Golden State is they have limited options simply because they're paying all this money to Curry, Draymond, to Jimmy Butler. They definitely do not want to pay that money to Kuminga, which is why he's a restricted free agent. So if somebody pays him big money, I'm not sure they match. If somebody, not that there's big money in the market, but if there was, hypothetically, I'm not sure they match. But they do want to sign and trade because they want to get assets in return to keep feeding Curry and to keep that team extremely stacked, So we'll see. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just a lot of politics to explain to a $30 million plus player to be the sixth man. There's far more that aren't Manu than there are that are Manu. Very tough sell, especially in the contract year. Yeah, and if that's the case, if you cannot bench this guy and you cannot get the proper pieces around the team to help defend, and maybe the Lakers will be inclined to trading him. Maybe. I don't put it past us. Dan, any information why the Knicks didn't even try to sign Mike Malone? From what I'm hearing, man, the Knicks are they were interested in Mike Malone, but I'm not sure how much, if they even inquired or anything. The Knicks went about this process in an interesting manner. The Knicks under Leon Rose have been tremendous. And then, all of a sudden they're having a funny offseason. First of all, nobody expected them to fire Thibs, with the exception of a few of us. We were like, And then they went and started asking all these teams if they can interview their current head coaches, which is weird. And it kind of had a James Dolan vibe to it. So there's speculation that James Dolan has taken over the Knicks. Now that they've been a little successful, now he wants to put his imprint on the team. And this is why you see these funny moves that are happening. So I don't know if that explains it for you, Kylo, but yeah, again, the Knicks, they're going to be the Knicks sometimes. And even Leon Rose can't fix James Dolan, right? Lucas stands are worried about if he loses too much weight, he won't be as effective because a lot of his games he relies on his body. Luka fans, look no further than Luka when he was a rookie, second year, he was in shape. All right. It's not about bullying. He adapted his play style to his weight. But when he was in shape, he was dunking on folks. He looked even better, y'all. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Luka. Luka knows what he's doing. He's the professional athlete. We're the fans. Let's just sit back and let Luka work. And, we knew Luka was going to get in shape. He's trying to make a run for the MVP caliber championship season. So let's hope that happens. Englewood, it's nice over here, except for the Clippers toilet area. I feel you, bro. It probably stinks over there, too. All them damn toilets probably polluting the airwaves, bro. Let's see here. My team got DFS and Capella. We seem to be going all in. The thing is, the risk is if we don't work out, then we're going to be a bad look. You're going to work out to the sense that you're going to be a contender this year, for sure, Kyle. You're going to be a contender, which last year you weren't. Last year was kind of like the trial phase. Last year, you guys were getting better. You guys have a great head coach in Ime Udoka. You have tremendous talent. I'm a huge fan of Amen Thompson. You made a trade that's going to put you in contention. You're not the favorites, right? The Thunder are still the favorites, defending champs. But you're in contention now. You're up there with the Denver Nuggets. You're going to be up there with the Thunder and hopefully the Lakers. And that's great, right? But it's not a guaranteed championship. We don't know if Kevin Durant's health will hold up. He's had some injury history. He's getting older. We just don't know what next season is going to look like for any team. But good luck to you guys, except for when you play us, Kyle. Going to be a fun team to watch for sure. And you guys got better this offseason tremendously. I believe you guys had the best offseason from any team so far. But it's still a lot of offseason to go, so I won't crown you just yet. Let's see. Bob Myers got in when Curry, Clay, and Draymond were already there, though. He brought KD in, which was about it. And he didn't do much even in 2022 when Golden State won by sheer luck. Well, if you put it that way, Ali, you might have a point. But in reality, Bob Myers is well-respected and well-regarded around the league, whether it's for making trades or whether it's as a basketball mind. All right? Think about this. The Warriors haven't been the same since he left. All right, I rest my case. That's all I got to say. They haven't been the same since he left. They haven't been able to recruit the same amount of free agents. They haven't had, cap flexibility as well. They haven't been the same. And even last year's trade was very questionable because they had to overpay for Jimmy Butler, right? So that's the thing about them, right? All right, let's try to see if we can get to 500 likes. I'll stay on an extra hour. Give you guys about 10 minutes to hit that like button, try to catch up there. Let me know, Kimmy Goat, if we got it. If not, we'll get on in about 10 minutes. I'll do my best to bring you guys the latest, though. I'll be on throughout the day if it happens. I do have another rumor here by Evan Siddery, who's a questionable source, to be honest. But the Lakers, Pistons, Sixers, Trailblazers, and Warriors are amongst teams who have checked in on Chris Boucher, okay, if I even said his name right. He averaged about 10 points, 4.5 rebounds while shooting 36% from three for the Toronto Raptors last season, okay? So that's another intriguing name. We've talked about him before. He's interesting. He's interesting for sure. Any updates on signing Al Horford, Dan, to our Lake show? Well, the Lakers have registered interest. That's the only update we have as of now. Al Horford is weighing in all his options, right? All of his options right now, currently, as we speak. I want to bring up this graphic, though. I want to bring up my guy, DeAndre Ayton, all right, because people have been very critical of this signing. And hopefully this, this helps a little bit. But check this out, y'all. Look at the numbers here for the player. A lot of people said we should have kept the trade. Look at the stats. Look at the stats. We didn't give up anything. And statistically, we got a player that's been much better in his career. All right. Look at Mark Williams' average so far in only 106 games, 12.3 points per game. All right. DeAndre Ayton, 16.4. Rebounds throughout their careers, 8.8 versus DeAndre Ayton's 10.5. All right. Assist, 1.6. Steals, they're about deadlocked in steals. Blocks, they're almost deadlocked by 1/10 of a point. Field goal percentage, Mark Williams gets it, but it's a smaller sample size, while DeAndre Ayton's still shooting .590, which is great. And then 3-point percentage, it's not even close. One doesn't shoot them, and one does. at a lower clip, but he still shoots them. Just the fact that he's an option there. Maybe he can give us a little bit of what AD brought as far as spacing the floor. And then free throw percentage, he gets it there as well. So clearly we got a much better player for nothing. And anybody who's a Laker fan, like a true Laker fan, should be really, really happy and excited with this acquisition because there's potential there. A lot of potential. He said people acting like Luka can't do both. If he can lose weight, come back stronger, and put that body on people. Pause. Bro, Luka definitely, he knows what he's doing. He's not going to lose weight to the point where it's detrimental to him. Right? Another thing I'll say about Luka is that I feel like, again, I'm an avid NBA fan overall. I'm a diehard Laker fan, but I'm also an NBA fan. And I've heard Luka fans and Maverick fans talk about Luka's weight for the past 6 years, right, when he's been in the league or so. Every year he seems to be in shape, but what's important is when training camp rolls around in October. That's when we'll have the true conversation because you can gain weight in 2 months, right? He may be losing weight and then gain it back. We don't know how he's going to look. So I don't want to be overcritical and overexcited about that. But my guy DP says he looked good and in shape, but the best Luka has been fat Luka so far. But he's got his different. He got his differently than before. I'm not worried about it. Just food for thought. Definitely not worried about it. It's exciting, the fact that we even have Luka. The fact that we can have this conversation here and with a top 5 player in this league. Very excited, man. And I just can't wait to see what Luka does for the Lakers this upcoming season. All right, quick update. Shams Charania reported Dallas Mavericks assistant Jared Dudley is finalizing a deal to become the top assistant coach for the Denver Nuggets under David Adelman. Did I say that right? Adelman, sorry. Andy Miller of Clutch Sports tells ESPN. So congrats to former Laker Jared Dudley, man. He's out here, pursuing his dream and, becoming a coach. And you love to see this guy moving on up. So congrats to Jared Dudley. Also, Summer League. Have some Summer League information here for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and share that now. Make sure you guys subscribe. Again, #1 source for all things Lakers, guys. Summer League is around the corner. It's actually 2 days away this weekend. All right. And this is what we do have for you guys. And that is, I'll go ahead and pull it up here. The Summer League roster. All right. We got Darius Baisley, who was he drafted by, the Jazz or the Thunder? I forgot. So he's making his debut with the Lakers Summer League team. RJ Davis, Eric Dixon, the 2-way contract guy, Dejan Gordon, Bronny James, who I'm very excited to watch, Trey Jamison, a.k.a. Debo, who's still on the Lakers Summer League team. Excited to see him. Ty Johnson, Arthur Kaluma, Dalton Connect. I'm the most excited to see how Dalton has grown. If he has worked on his handles, his defense, etc. August, and then Sam Menenga. Okay, Julian Reese, who's Angel Reese's brother, by the way. Julian Reese. And then Jabari Rice, DJ Stewart, Cole Swider is back. Who remembers the legendary Cole Swider? Who always seems to be on our Summer League team. And then Ethan Taylor. There is no our rookie who we drafted with 36. All right. Athero is not going to be there. He's nursing some sort of knee injury right now, guys. So yeah, he's not going to be available till training camp. And then here is your schedule. All right, California Classic coming up July 5th at 3:30 Pacific time. Make sure you guys tune in at 2:30 Pacific time for a pregame. We'll be talking Summer League. And then July 6th at 1:30, which is the next day, versus Miami. And then July 8th versus the Spurs. That is the California Classic. And then the Las Vegas Summer League, which is the most important one where we see the most competition, July 10th at 5 p.m. And I got you guys covered for all these pre-games and post-games. July 12th, July 14th, and 17th at Boston. And then if there's more games based on us making it past the first couple of rounds, then I got you guys covered. So, yeah, there you have it. Summer League information for those of you that are interested. Let's see. Dan, check Real GM. Let's check Real GM real quick. Let's see what they had to say. Very, very curious. We have another rumor. Is that what it is? Let's see what they got to say real quick on Twitter. It says Warriors favorite to sign Al Horford as he also considers Lakers and retirement. Lakers working to sign another free agent center. Which one is this? Which one are we talking about here? Yeah, no, Al Horford interested in Al Horford for sure. That's the one you were talking about, and I hope that we do get Al Horford. That would be huge. As a backup, be tremendous. That was a great point showing the comparison. Yeah, you know why, Dave? Because there's still a lot of criticism about our guy, DeAndre Ayton. He's our guy, and we got him for nothing. Here's another point of interest for you guys. The Trailblazers have unsuccessfully been attempting to offload Jeremy Grant. All right, he's paid $102 million over the next 3 seasons with a declining production now. His contract is viewed as a negative asset. Could we see another buyout? And could that be the 3-and-D wing that the Lakers could use? Right. So just keep an eye out on that right there as well. And then the latest rumor and the latest one for today was the Warriors, Bucks, and Lakers would all have interest in Bradley Beal if he was bought out and became a free agent. What do you guys think of Bradley Beal? That's what I want to know. What do you guys think of Bradley Beal? Because, you know, off the bench, I wouldn't mind him per se, but there's better players out there available, right? There's much better players out there that I would love to have than Bradley Beal. He's kind of really declined through the injuries over the last couple of years. And so, yeah, looks like Al Horford is deciding between the Warriors and the Lakers. So we are in the – wow, that would be insane. If we get Al Horford, guys, I'm going to be really excited. That's an A+ offseason right there. Been saying it for days. It wasn't that report? Oh, okay. I thought it was that report. Yeah, tag me if you can. I'd appreciate it, sis. I'd love to break something before I get off here. You're the best. My guy, Angel, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. He said, keep Beal away. For the veterans minimum? You wouldn't like him for the veterans minimum? Fair enough. He is a sharp shooter. Overrated. Well, we're talking about a potential buyout here where, you know, you're able to have him for little to nothing. I think low risk, high reward. Between him and Damian Lillard, I still prefer Dame, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. If DeAndre Ayton would have met with the Warriors or any other team, people and the media would be glazing the jelly out of it. Good point. You're absolutely right. It's only when the Lakers make certain moves that we get destroyed. But that's why I'm here to set the table straight. All right, I got you guys, because you already know that you know, I'm a truth teller, man. And if it was something to criticize us about, I'd be criticizing. But let's not act like DeAndre Ayton isn't head and heels better than Jackson Hayes. It's not even in the same ballpark. Not even just the potential, just the sheer talent. He's better. We're not even talking potential here. Okay, we got some breaking news. Okay, good thing I didn't log off. Hit the like button, guys. Keep me on here for another hour. Let's get to 500 likes. It says here, the Houston Rockets are waiving center Jock Landale ahead of July 7th guaranteed date. Landale is expected to sign with his preferred destination upon clearing waivers. So, again, the Rockets waiving is it Jake or Jock? I think it's Jock, right? I made fun of this guy's name before. Yeah, it's Jock Landale. All right, they're waiving him. That's interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with the 17th deal they're about to make, or just, you know, keeping his contract off the books. We'll see. Should the Celtics get Dame? Not really. Hopefully the Celtics get nobody. But that's just me being a Laker fan. In reality, for the Celtic fans out there, I don't know what they're doing, man. They're offloading a lot of money. If anything, it seems like a gap year for you guys. Like, you're not going to do much. Let's see. Are there any latest rumors on where Dame is going? Dame is currently weighing all of his options. All right, there's nothing. I believe he'll end up in Golden State if they can't, especially if they can't get Horford. Let's just say the Lakers get Horford. I think they'll turn around, pivot, try to sign Damian Lillard. They might want to get both. Who knows? I don't know if they can make it work with all the salaries they have on the books. But again, I've seen crazier things. You see what the Bucks did to sign Miles Turner, right? Beal can't be amnestied. Can they work a buyout with him? Or does that not work, D-Free? That's what it was, CJ. I remember that, man. He was pissing me off when we played him. Javi, there should be an option on the top right corner, but sometimes it only shows up in either desktop or the cell phone mode, Javi. So, yeah, if you want to become a member, feel free to either refresh the page or just check on the desktop mode, like under the computer, because sometimes the option, I don't know what it is with YouTube, it doesn't always pop up for the phone, or vice versa. It doesn't always pop up on desktop. It'll pop up on phone only. So definitely there has to be somewhere where it says become a member or you know, something like that. the Celtics are definitely tanking. That's what it feels like. But more importantly, they are waiting for Jason Tatum to get healthy. That's even more of what it feels like for sure. But yeah, that is the latest move right there, Chef. Charania finally woke up from his deep sleep, from his slumber, and he reports exactly that. He hadn't had a tweet since 3 hours ago. So let's see if that gets him activated. Let us know where we at on the likes, Kimmy Goat. Let's see. Anybody else have any more questions? Can we sign Beal with no MLE left? I think veterans minimum might work, but I'm not sure. CBA is very complicated. But I think the veterans minimum might work, assuming he did get bought out. But my good friend D Free says that, you know, he's not a candidate or eligible to get amnesty, right? Again, there's so many different rules, man. So many different rules. How strong is the 2026 draft? I haven't actually looked into it, man. I'll be honest with you. I haven't looked into it. I do believe the Lakers do have a first-round pick, so I will be looking into it, and I'll get back to you on that. But, yeah, I haven't really looked at the 2026 draft. I'm focused on the 2026 season. But we'll see. The 2025 draft is intriguing, the one that just happened. Sometimes drafts look amazing, and then, you know, they end up being horrible, and then vice versa. Sometimes they look weak, and they ended up being really strong. So hopefully we get one of those when the Lakers have a first-round pick. We got 228 likes, guys. Let's make sure we get at least to 350. All right, I'll stay on for an extra hour. Let's hit that like button. It only takes but a second of your time. Beal will be hurt by the pen he tries to sign with. Yo, that's tough, bro. That's tough. He's had horrible years. I'm not gonna lie. I'm confused why people want Dame when he has that Achilles injury. Even for the playoffs, it makes no sense considering it generally takes 2 years to return to form. Well, here's the thing. We have advanced, you know, medical staffs and all kinds of things that can get him a lot healthier faster. As a bench player, even if he averages like 7 to 8 points, that would be a huge upgrade over any bench we had last year. I think that's what it is, Angel. To answer your question, bro, I think it's the fact that our bench sucks so bad, we're desperate enough to try to land a Chris Paul or a Dame, even coming off of a major injury. He said Dame low-key should go to Boston, and he and Tatum are also on the same timeline. Also, I mean, they can work a buyout, but he would have to give up a lot of money. Interesting. Yeah, you'll never catch me as a Laker fan saying any free agent should go to Boston. But I understand what you're saying. They could be workout buddies and rehab together. That would definitely be encouraging. I can see your perspective. The kind of money he probably ain't getting again. So you're saying there's a chance. Dan, what's good? Do you think the Lakers make a move? Of course, I think the Lakers make a move. I think the Lakers make 1 or 2 more moves this offseason. What can be a free agent signing? Apparently, right now, we are one of the 2 finalists for Al Horford. So that's good news. And then I think they'll still make a trade of some sort, right, to try to shore up the wing position defensively. Because if you look at our starting lineup, there's a lot left there to be desired from the defensive end, right? So, again, let's see. The Lakers have to be very calculated, right? We kind of got out ahead of the curve just by the fact that we're able to get our starting big man, without giving up anything as far as assets go. So that'll give us flexibility down the stretch for sure, you know? Let's see. If the Celtics get Dame, we will have 2 All-Stars on our team. We robbed the Bucks. That would be crazy. I could definitely see Dame going there to be petty and try to get revenge on the Bucks for the way they did him. First of all, we have to remember, when Dame requested a trade, he did not have Milwaukee. Nobody has Milwaukee on their trade destination list, okay? When Dame requested a trade, he had Miami as his priority. Milwaukee swooped in knowing he didn't want to play for them, and they traded for him. Only to do him like this after his injury is pretty bad. So if you're a player, you're looking at Milwaukee like, hell no. Not only do y'all have one of the most boringest cities in the world, but you guys are also assholes, and you showed no loyalty. The only person they showed loyalty to is Giannis, okay, because he lifted them to a championship. And so, yeah, again, if Dame wants to get revenge, he might want to go to Boston, actually rehab and get back on time for assuming they make the playoffs, and try to get his revenge on Milwaukee. But I don't, as of they are right now, I don't think Boston makes the playoffs. They might. It is the East. The East is weaker, so you never know. But yes, this is a name I've been very intrigued by right there. That's a name I've been very intrigued by right there, Malik Monk. And apparently they're open to trading him to the Detroit Pistons on a trade they had going already. So it'll be interesting to see if they don't trade him there or they turn around and trade him elsewhere. You know, I've always been a Malik Monk fan and love what he did for the Lakers when he was here for 1 year. And unfortunately, we didn't have the cap to have him then, but now would be a perfect time to swoop in and pick him up for sure. All right, Kimmy, go give me the final update. If we're not at 350, then your boy will be logging off. But again, if anything breaks, you know, I come right back, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we're going to keep our ear low to the ground and see what we can hear because there's still plenty of free agent movement, trade talks, negotiations, stuff like that. Horford could pick the Lakers. That would be tremendous. I'd be so excited. I better start working on that graphic right now for Al Horford to Lakers just in case it does happen. But let's see. I'll take one more question because it looks like we're getting off here. Keep hitting that like button, though, guys. Dan, what do you think of Gary Payton as a defensive point of attack defender? I like Gary Payton. Gary Payton the third, right? I like him a lot. We had him, ironically. We had him. He was on a couple of the Summer League teams and stuff like that, and we had him on a couple of 10-day deals, I think. I like GP. I would not mind having him back over here. But again, my thing is I want size, guys. I want us to shift more into the modern NBA, which is size, 6'5" point guards and up, 6'5" guards and up. And if we're going to bring guys like Gary Payton II or DeAnthony Melton or anybody like that, I suggest we offload the contracts of guys like Gabe Vincent, you know, guys like that. My guy Diehard, he said Luka with the assist for Ayton. He said Reeves with the assist for LaRavia. LeBron could be the assist for Chris Paul, but I heard he's not recruiting. Yeah, LeBron is probably on his way out, bro. If he's not out after this year, I'd be shocked. He's either going to walk as a free agent or he's going to demand a trade at some point this year. From everything we're hearing, the signs are pointing to that. He might be graceful enough to play one more year with us and try to compete for that title. But this was the first time in his career he did not even get offered an extension. I believe the Lakers and the new management are going in a different direction. We're going in the Luka direction. And from what I heard, even when it happened, the Luka trade was signifying to LeBron that this is no longer your team or Clutch's team. This is now Luka's team. And we're going in that direction. So that's exactly what happened. But again, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much for all the comments, questions, concerns, super chats, likes, subscriptions, and all you members as well, man. You guys are truly the best. This video was brought to you and sponsored by Underdog, okay, and Prize Picks. Both promo codes DTLF both give you tremendous deals and offers. So tap in, fam. Right now, we still got some MMA. We got baseball season. We still got a lot we could do entry props. And if you're in Cali, take advantage, okay, because lawmakers are trying to take it away and make it illegal and turn it into like the new gambling or whatever. Of California. So take advantage while it's still up. Make that paper, man. And don't forget promo code DTLF. If the Al Horford news does break, I'm going to bust a U-turn and come right back on live stream. All right, so make sure you guys tap in, keep it locked, turn on the post noti bells, and I hope to see you guys real soon, all right? Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Peace out.